Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. You know, patience is still a virtue. Unfortunately, truth has short legs, the lie has long legs. Therefore, the truth always, comes late at the crime scene. After all the lies were dispersed, the truth comes lately when nobody's around to listen to it anymore, because they all went on their way to act upon the information they were received before the truth show up. So the truth right now is alone in the market square with nobody to listen to. What do we have here? Obviously, Ukraine is by de facto a member of NATO. However you want to take it. You're almost there. I've been saying this for, at least 1 year, to be more precise, since this military intervention in Ukraine started by the Russians. And now we have again Mr. Alexei Reznikov, the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, coming out and saying, well, actually, Ukraine is in NATO de facto, but it's not politically in there yet. That means it's like I have a female partner that we live together, we have everything in intimacy, we put money together like in the good old days. We have children and so on, but the only thing that we lack is we don't have a paper from the city hall or from the church. By the church we live in something sinful. By the state, nowadays seems to be acceptable. All right, so you have everything but the papers in your hand. If someone attacks your partner, you will defend your partner. I would say with your life, if necessary. That's the way it should be. And I hope it is, if you have a partner or a girlfriend or a wife or this kind of situation where you don't have the papers. So let's go to Mr. Reznikov and see what he doesn't give a damn disclosing. So we got to that point where it's in the open, like it is, for instance, in corrupt Romania. It used to be, at least when I used to live there. These corrupt politicians and important businessmen, new businessmen in this town or in the country, were just coming forward and telling you that they're in charge and you can't do anything about it. And if you don't behave, we're going to slap you around. So I don't know if the same way nowadays. I think they just are a little bit more, how do you call it, sophisticated. That's the word. They're a little bit more sophisticated. I think they had good trainers, or at least they figured out that it's better to be a thug under the umbrella of a suit and a tie and clean cut and with a goatee maybe. They will give you away, I would guess. I'm not making fun of those people, but the problem is we have this guy right here who give us this. Anyway, let's go to Mr. Reznikov and see what he says. This article comes from Ukrainska Pravda, and it says that Ukraine is de facto a member of NATO. Only political decision left. Ukrainian Defense Minister, this person right here. Now this article comes from today, April 17th, 2023. Alexei Reznikov, Ukraine's defense minister, believes that Ukraine became a de facto member of NATO with the beginning of the Russian full-scale invasion, and only a political decision remains to be made for its de jure entry. Source: this is Reznikov in an interview with Spanish publication La Razón. La Razón. All right, and I'm quoting: After this war, the only thing left is the political decision to become a de jure or de jure member. Russia is the biggest threat to NATO for the next 10 years. Russia was considered the biggest threat for a long time, and it's going to be until they are nailed and they are brought back into the arms of the world community, which is formed of about 40 countries actually. And when Russia will become Russia from 1991 until 1999, then Russia will be our ally almost. This time Russia, if Russia gets to that point, I think this is the last time we have Russia as a power and independent, bad as they tell us it is, country. I think they will make sure this time that Russia is really gonna be, I don't know, like Romania, a vassal state. And it needs much more resources in order to do that, because Russia is bigger, has nuclear weapons, and it has a lot of people with a lot of money. The military is still there, so it's kind of like hard to, harness it. The problem is 1991 until 1999 showed us that to a great extent that's possible. This time is going to be done. And they will become embracing the European, values, if you know what I mean. And their children too. All right, so what else is here with Mr. Reznikov? So the Russia is the biggest threat to NATO for the next 10 years, 10 years, as determined at the Madrid summit. And no one has such direct experience of fighting it and defending it like us. Okay, what could be a better reason than that? They need us. And quote Reznikov. Yes, to a certain extent, you are right, Mr. Reznikov. They need you. They need you to go there and to have your daughters and your sons go and directly fight their cousins, because the cousins are evil by definition, we're told. This is why Reznikov. And you, somehow, part of the Ukrainian nation, together with the other three, which is Michal, Zelensky, and Yermak, are helping the Ukrainian nation rebirth and, again, everything that beautiful West has to offer. And it has a lot of good things to offer. The problem is it was hijacked by some, I think, deluded, or not deluded, because I'm this could be also interpreted not as a delusion, because a deluded person can be just deluded but has no power to enact the delusion upon others. The problem here is that Brussels and Washington have the power to impose their delusion, some delusions, on regular citizens, with the threat of canceling, firing, arresting, interviewing, interrogating, harassing and all that. All that comes only in despotic countries like Russia. All right? So let's go back here and see what we have here at the end. The head of defense ministry also refuted the claim that NATO is helping Ukraine in this confrontation with the Russian Federation, but was not providing opportunities for victory. What are you talking about? Is not helping Ukraine in its confrontation? Where do you get your weapons where from? Who are consulting your generals? I put it nicely. Okay, who? What is that, help, or is it just not help? If it's not help, have them not do it and see what happens. So obviously they help. When you have people in life telling you that you don't help me, you didn't help me, and you helped them, you did something for them, so okay, then I'm not going to do it again. You're going to see immediately that taking away that they consider not help or nothing like that, they will immediately say, no. Why? If it's no help, if I didn't do anything for you, then I will not do what you say I didn't do. So Reznikov, again, he's not an idiot. He was educated in a communist system, so he has to go through rigorous tests and all that. I think he has a PhD in something. We can see that, and I'm quoting, we can see that the original expectations have been exceeded and they believe in us. No, they believe in you to do what they want you to do. So, and you are very eager beaver to do that, which is fine. But the problem is that you determine that for the whole nation. And the nation is with you because you have the mass media, of course. All the weapons they have supplied. Oh, what do you mean? NATO is not helping Ukraine, but all the weapons they have supplied us have been used in great victories, and the stakes have risen accordingly. When I asked Washington for the stingers before it all started, they told me that it is impossible. So then they lied. 2 months later, the first shipment from Lithuania arrived with the approval of the White House. So that tells you that they lied. They said, no, we're not going to give you. And they give you. They changed their mind. I will tell you this little particularity I found here in the free world. And that's how it happens with everything. Nothing is impossible for me. Well, I think it's kind of impossible for you to be an honest, decent person. But it seems like you might not be. That's the keyword, might. So let me tell you something. Where I come from, I don't know, my family, the people around me, my friends, my acquaintances, it's like this. If you say something, you keep your word. If I tell you something, if I change that, that's considered, and that's either negative or a positive, consequence. That's not really a good thing. Obviously, when things end up well, you say, yes, that's fine. Yeah, good, you changed your mind. Like in this case, Reznikov. Yes, he's very happy that he received stingers and whatever he received. That's good for him. But is it good for the big chunk of the US population, for instance? Or for the world overall that was provided? Well, they're not taken in consideration. I think they should, because what's good for you might not be good for the other ones. The problem is you are a secondary value. Why? Because you're just another country somewhere. On the other hand, you receive something from some people where their government decided, without asking them, to do that because they have the mandate provided to them by one vote in 4 years. I don't like that deal. All right, I think there should have been a referendum about that, and I'm going to keep saying that forever. I don't trust these weasels because right now look how many billions they give Reznikov. So here I observed a lot of things like this, and I was talking about changing your mind. You talk with someone about we're going to meet tomorrow at noon, and then tomorrow at noon he doesn't show up or she doesn't show up. And when you get in contact with the person, that person is going to tell you nonchalantly, I changed my mind. Well, for me, changing my mind affected my schedule, affected me, and you don't have a word. So I should negatively, the consequences of our relationship should be negative, which means you lost credibility, you're not my friend, or at least you dropped from a friendship to an acquaintance, or from an acquaintance to an idiot. Okay, so that's how I function, at least. And if I do the same thing, then I should be considered the same way. So I don't fall outside of my own rules, just so you know. So here, White House changed his mind many times. Things that he says, we're not going to do that, we're not going to do that, and they did it, and they did it, and they did it. I'm talking about supplying Ukraine with weapons, deadly weapons, like their, massage weapons too. So anyway, this is it. I didn't have any doubts that little by little these guys will have the chutzpah to come and tell everybody, yes, man, it was the United States all along. Stop bothering. You see these little countries trying to, like Brazil, now Iraq, and others, China, trying to say that we can mediate the war, we can help. You missed the point. You don't have to mediate anything. Those guys have to pull the plug of getting Russia to 1991 again. And worse, Russia will not recover. If it falls right now, I don't think we'll recover for centuries. But that's my assessment, and I think I'm entitled to have an assessment of a situation, as dumb as it might sound. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.